says do not live someone else's life and someone else's idea of what womanhood is. Womanhood is you. It's another time to connect with you on radio on the program Women on Wheels here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This segment of Women on Wheels is tagged Building a Limitless Woman. And tonight on the show, I will continue with self-esteem and confidence. I have with me in the studio a resource person to do justice to the topic. At the appropriate time, I will be introducing her. To start with, self-esteem is the overall sense of self-worth and how much you value yourself. I mean, these are things you can relatively find online, you can read. But then, you know what experts do? They break it down to, a layman term, right, for you to have a better understanding of it. Low self-esteem can lead to negative self-talk, lack of motivation, and a feeling of inadequacy. On the other hand, healthy self-esteem can enhance your resilience, improve relationships, and increase your overall happiness, supporting you to live the life of your choice. Tonight, I have with me in the studio Dr. Bountiful Taiwo Adelanwa, the Executive Director, Bountiful Foundation Limited, and the CEO, Bountiful Event. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm fine.
Okay, so you might be wondering who I am talking to. Dr. Bountiful Taiwo Adelanwa is a practicing social worker and a psychologist with over 17 years of great track record in people, business, and national development, particularly urban poor and urban indigenous communities. She is also a passionate researcher. All right, then, let's get down to business tonight, Dr. Taiwo. Let's talk about self-care and compassion. How can these be practiced? I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, you need to take care of yourself first before you can't give what you do not have, right? But then, how do I even start?
Okay. Good evening, everybody. How's the day been? I hope you're enjoying the weather. Thank you for having me, and thank you to the producer as well. Okay, so when we talk about self-care or compassion, you've actually started the conversation already. You can't give what you don't have. So you must first have a good sense of yourself to take care of yourself. You must first value the entity called self before you can now begin to say, I want to care. You don't care about what you don't value. So you need to value yourself. Take good care of yourself. When you place value on the self, you now externalize this value in how you take care of yourself, how you use yourself, how you manage yourself, how you re-energize yourself. And then we can now move on to say, okay, you want to care for other people. And he said this is peculiar for women because no matter how conservative, how young, how little in the cadre a woman will be in a house, the care of the majority of the family lies on the shoulder of the woman. I do not take for granted exceptions, and I call it exceptions, where the women are not fitting into this role and the man is doing the role in the household. It's possible. Or maybe cases where nobody takes care, and of course the children will now suffer for it. But I will talk about self-esteem from her physical health and mental health space. So as a woman, how do you take care of yourself? What works for you? We still don't take exercises very seriously. And we're all busy. And also, it will also bring into economic space. For a woman, I need to pay for this, I have this is a priority, and your health is not becoming a priority. You have to make your health a priority before it becomes a priority.
You have to make your health a priority before it becomes a priority.
And by the time it becomes a priority, it's already an emergency case and things are really bad. So what about paying for your gym yourself? You can't afford to pay for gym session maybe for a year. How about just doing group exercise. Maybe on Saturday in the estates, your community, you can take it to bring other women together and let us do exercise. Just do few aerobics. How about dancing? Thank God that dancing is quite convenient for a lot of women, and it's doing a whole lot in shaping our health. So, but we need to prioritize exercising. We know as Africans, it's not a place of a priority for us. But now, events around us is showing us that this is a major concern, and we have to. And like I said, what you don't value, you don't care for. And if you don't value yourself, how do you value others? Now, how do you begin to show empathy? What is empathy? We're not talking about pity. We're talking about empathy. It's totally different from pity. But you're considering yourself, what if I'm this person? You're looking at the situation from the lens of the other person. And it's not all situation you want to react to. You want to listen with empathy. You want to correct in love. Oftentimes we don't correct in love. Yes, the child has done something wrong, especially for our teenage children. How do you correct in love? As spouses, our men, we know sometimes we're not even contesting in the space where you see us as maybe not so brilliant or not so smart. It's okay. But how do you correct us in love?
In love.
So when we let this takes priority in our daily lives, in our what rules us, then the world will be a better place. And building our resilience, our mental health, what works for you? Oftentimes, I've seen cases in therapy sessions, people who are being bullied by themselves. I don't like to describe it.
Okay, tell me about it.
Self-bully. That person, the other people have not even condemned. They've not laughed at you. You're already laughing at yourself. You're already looking down at yourself. Some kids will not even move because they feel they will laugh at me. I am obese. I'm obviously big. I can't contest that. Do I want to go slim? Yes, I want to. Not because I want to impress anybody. Just because, well, I want to be able to wear what I want to wear. And I want to also stay healthy. But I do my exercise so that I can move my body and I can, okay, significantly, I'm healthy to a significant point. But if I can shed my weight, I'll be happy. But how do I still carry this weight and I go live my life normal and nothing is under pressure? So oftentimes we condemn ourselves as women even before people condemn us. You're going to party, you're like, I'm not dressing like them. You're comparing. You should compare yourself. You should be your worst competitor should be yourself. You should compare with what you did best the last time.
Yes. Not
what you are wearing and others are wearing. Anybody can wear what they want. And like I always say, there's this common saying in Yoruba that says, meaning that a woman that is not spending her money on buying clothing has something else is spending their money on. And don't forget, for all our actions and inactions, there are consequences. You choose to go and build a house, so be it. I choose to use my money to buy my Keko's bag, so be it. Why are you now feeling that you don't have a Keko's bag or a designer bag like my own? When you have a house, I don't have a house. They have a designer car and you don't have a designer car, but hello, you have your children in a good school where you want them to be, or you have used the money to send them abroad to have global education. So why are you comparing? Our physical health and our mental health resilience is dependent on this self-esteem. Or self-esteem is dependent, or is vice versa. When you have good physical health, you know you can move yourself. You're not scared of, what if I cross the road and I fall down? What if I move here and something happens? If I fall down, I'm going to stand up immediately. There's no crime. Everybody fall down. I can miss my stuff.
Yes, let's take a look at some of the challenges women face in this part of the world. A lot of women struggle with this self-esteem at a certain stage, especially for when they eventually become a mother. They have the big belly, the stretch mark comes in, all of those things. And then some of them, a reasonable percentage of women actually become a shadow of themselves. Why is this?
It's just natural. How you feel, you may not have control over it.
Wow.
Most of the time, yes. How we respond is what we have control over. Either you have control over you have to take responsibility for it. And you're taking responsibility for your responses, then you have to take a second thought. Or you think about it in another way. What if I do it the other way? So that we go, the first thing about this is we want to talk to the society generally. Let's stop body shaming. Let's stop it. And then to our spouses, can you spend more time in making us feel good? As a woman, we feel bad that you don't even acknowledge the fact that my body was damaged for you to become a father. It hurts us. I think we need to let them know. We don't talk about it. Thank God for the young guys who now do push gifts and all of that.
Yeah.
How about our generation that have had our babies in those days that they were not push gifts? Should we go back and get our invoices and that has pay in arrears now?
Well,
so we need to, then I always say, for every time we feel bad about the stretch mark, about this stomachs that are not getting back to size, or shapes that have been distorted by hormones, then we should look at the beautiful entities that were brought to life. How cute our children are. The fact that life is coming out of you, you are giving, like somebody gave you something very tiny, you have multiplied something big, you are nurturing, and you have the person to nurture that big thing, that big entity of a child. Then you should be grateful. If I rather beat my chest and carry my shoulder up and say, hey, this came from me, this fantastic child come from me, and it's fine.
Dr. Bountiful Taiwo Adelanwa taking us to the classroom tonight on some self-esteem as a woman. Let's talk about challenging negative thoughts using positive affirmations to boost your self-worth. How can this be achieved?
Affirmations. Yeah, some of us don't like motivational speakers because it takes 72 hours to leave you. But affirmations is just stemming from positive thinking, rather than thinking the negative.
But how do you even think positively when you are in a toxic environment?
That's why your self-worth, that's why the first part of this model, we started about 4 months now, started with self-discovery. Who are you? Know yourself. When you know yourself, then you begin to develop yourself and then master the self. Personal mastery is a journey, it's not an end point. But mastering yourself is that I know myself. I know what triggers me. I know what upset me. You will not come into that aspect. I take absolute control of my mind, my responses, and how I feel. We say it every day in psychology. What the problem is not the problem. How the person says the problem is the problem. You choose to insult me, and I'm not feeling insulted. How is that a problem? Sometimes, can women begin to see when men maybe become very negative with us, or maybe try to pressure us at home, or say some words and say that, can you look with empathy? Let's go back to where we started from. Empathy. Maybe that man is also having turmoil in his system. Maybe he's being threatened. And God bless our ladies after 40. When you have discovered yourself,
sure,
you are now more confident. You know who you are, and then that man is doing everything to press you down. I don't like to label and say he's a narcissist. Is this? I don't really like those labels. And when people throw words around, they gaslight, I just laugh. Because sometimes we use those words, we don't even know what exactly the meaning is. The meanings are. But the fact of the case is, when you have a true sense of self, and there's congruence. I've talked about this on this platform too. There's congruence between your ideal self and your real self. I mean, let anybody say anything. Even when that man is saying, you will leave my house today, you are going out today, you will say that. Sometimes you want to test his power. Like, am I really the head of the house? Let me try. Let me show. For me, it's a sign of weakness to prove to yourself that you are the owner of the house. It's a sign of weakness. Can women begin to deal with only hurting people hurt? You don't hurt when you are happy. When a man is hurting a woman, or a woman is, then begin to see from, and let us begin to say what is wrong with them. Maybe we could, maybe through our care, maybe through empathy, you could even help them to heal, and you will live a life of peace.
All of this, Dr. Bountiful Taiwo Adelanwa, sometimes we often say that it's easier said than done. Tell me how one can identify and surround oneself with positive influencer and supportive family, supportive people, especially when this person is actually nipped in one corner. You cannot go out, you cannot socialize, you cannot do this, because that is the story of an average African woman. How do we remedy this situation?
Number one, self-identity. Know yourself. do your SWOT analysis. What are your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats? And also, number 2, emotional intelligence. Understand the people around you. Be able to interpret responses. You don't be, and number 3, be proactive. Don't be reactive. For every word they throw at you, you don't have to respond. And before you respond, can you think through it one more time? And then number 4 is now to know your limiting thoughts.
When you say limiting thoughts, how do you mean?
You must be able to identify those things that tell you cannot do it. You are not good enough. You are not fitting. You are not good enough. You are not the right person. Oh, he's better than you. She's better than you. Then also stop the comparison. Focus on yourself and make a masterpiece from yourself. Ignore every other person. Yes, you are a social entity, you are a social being, but focus on yourself and make a masterpiece of the self. I learned a new word during this summer with the kids, and it's not about doing your best, it's about being the best. You can do your best, and your best is not enough, sir or ma. What about being the best? How about disciplining yourself on the grind to become the best version of yourself? In this space, I don't really dwell so much in the gender equality or gender equity space, because I believe that a woman of value who have mastered herself cannot be suppressed by any man. I don't want to know where that man is coming from. And if you want me to give an example, I'll give you 1,000 men that are doing well and their wives are doing well at the same time, and nothing is happening. If you look at Fashola's wife, Dame Fashola, she's doing well. And you will see that she lives in a space. You see her even at concerts, Christian concerts, and if she does the Jesus Babe vibe, that's a space.
But BRF is just 1 out of 1,000 men in
Look
Africa.
at Tinubu's wife. Look at our first lady. She's in a space. She was at the Senate. If she's not good enough, the husband will not release her. She has invested in herself. Women, let's invest in ourselves. The time we spend on reading those stories, those telemundos, I'm not saying you should not do them. Cut them by 80% and develop yourself. I don't know how we do it and we don't develop ourselves. You cannot do anything without developing the self.
But in the quest to develop yourself as a woman, what if it would cost you your home?
So there's a place for balance. How is developing yourself costing you your home because the man is not allowing you to grow, or your children? Your children, don't forget there's a space for child protection. They shouldn't suffer. That's why you must plan. Do your career path. Do your plan. I can use myself as an example. When I was having my kids, my babies, I know that, okay, character is that the foundation of mental development is 0 to 7. The max is 10 years. So I know 0 to 7 for these boys, I won't be able to do much. And it's my low period. And I said, okay, I'll give them extra 3 years, 10. They said all the foundation of character has formed 0 to 10. 0 to 10, go and ask what they would know me. I didn't do much. But that period, I know I'm going to step down my career. I was broke. Yes, it's my own personality, so you don't have to do my own style. But I use that time to go and live, because I know I'm not going to come to the market at the same level and get the same value.
Nigeria was not the same back then, compared to what's
Nigeria will never be the same.
Compared to what's going on globally now.
I'll give an example of men I've met. I'll say, oh, you're like my mother. Oh, my mother. I know of one man that told me that our mother lost a whole business for them to go and school abroad. And then by the time the third person was going, the business ran down. And today now, the woman is better. The children are doing well. They're back in the country. So even in the days of HID, women have been trading off. For every excuse to bring my way, I'll give you 1,000 reasons why you should move on.
Dr. Bountiful, we are in the era of multiple streams of income.
Yes.
Do you realize?
Yes, I agree. So in the era of multiple streams of income, in a vocal economy like our own, too much uncertainty. I mean, you must find what works for you. You don't have to join the bandwagon and say everybody is doing it, I'm doing that. What works for you? Are you good? I will not come to tech space. I'm not that kind of personality who can stay. I will not do forex because I know that I cannot monitor on the system. But I will sell, I will trade, I will do trading. I will go to my 12 and buy and run a pantry business. I will do events. I will do catering. I will do things I can do that is convenient for me. And so for me as an event planner, I'm saying, okay, I do catering, I do this, because I'm looking for multiple streams of income. So I'm still doing more within my space. I'm a social worker, I'm a psychologist, I am happy to do that, but that is not funding my lifestyle here. And I'm not built to go out there because my core community is grassroots communities.
But you do realize that in this part of the world, there are still some women who are not allowed to explore.
So it's a choice. They need to know their right. And those are the limiting thoughts. You need to know your rights and your values. And like I always say in counseling, before you went into the marriage, you need to see it.
Absolutely.
You went into a marriage, living yourself as a slave is a choice. And I will say it again, for all our actions and inactions, there are consequences.
All right, Lagos, Nigeria. The roads are still looking quite okay. You're listening to Women on Wheels here on Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. It's a very interesting conversation tonight with Dr. Taiwo, Dr. Bountiful Taiwo Adelanwa. Moving on now, how to focus on one's strengths and work on one's weakness. How do we do this without, affecting the level of confidence?
Okay, the essence of knowing yourself is to know where you're good at, where you will fan to flame, and where you need to work on. It's to find the gap in our lives. 1. 2, you have to know where you're going. When you know where you're going, your destination, then you can find the gap between who you are today and the things you need to build or acquire to achieve who you want to be tomorrow. And when you have done that, you have to now begin to invest in that gap. You will have trade-off. Ashwebi will not fly because you have to pay for one training. You will not attend some parties, you will not watch the soap opera because you have to read and do your assignments. And you have to take care of the kids and cook. When you have to cook, maybe that's time you have to go and read at midnight. You have to learn how to read at midnight. And then you have to keep your mental health heated and feel good. If going to spa is what makes you feel, then go to spa. If your budget cannot accommodate the spa, wait for when you're and see alternative how you can do it. Then you now build your confidence. You have to develop clarity of purpose to build your confidence. If there's no value, there can't be sense of worth. But when you have value and you know your value and you have invested in that value, there's confidence.
Let's talk about being faced with similarly difficult challenge. How do I step out of my comfort zone without losing my self-esteem and confidence?
The first thing is your drive. What is your driving force? When we don't know why we do things, abuse is inevitable. Why are you stepping out of your comfort zone? So if you know the why is your motivating force. I've been faced with people asking me questions and say, how do you achieve this? I said, I don't know how it happens. I am going to Oshodi. I will stand up and start going to Oshodi. Some people will wait back and do their risk analysis and do cost benefit analysis and analyze what it takes to go to Oshodi. Challenge on your way. Me, I will start going. I know I will meet challenges on the way and I'll put them in the bag because they are part of the package. And that's why you cannot take things in isolation. You will take the benefit and the disbenefit. And that's why you have to do your cost benefit analysis. And know, okay, the cost of going for this, does it worth it? And then you also want to be clear. Clarity of purpose is still important. And believe me, you will need to be a balanced woman. Let me stay there. We need to be a balanced woman. It's not just making the money. It's not just having the career. Raising proper kids is important. Tomorrow, nobody will ask about your car or those beautiful machines. Nobody will ask about your fantastic phone, but they will ask after your children. So when you do your planning, you must focus on what defines you. What are your focal points? Who are you? I am first a daughter. I am a being to myself. I am a mother to somebody. I am a wife to somebody.
In identifying all of these and being a woman, tell me how to handle critics, failures, and disappointment. As a matter of fact, pressure.
The only thing I can say, people who listen to critics and failure and challenges or all those negative thoughts don't go far.
Okay.
When people criticize you, take it in, look at it and do evaluation like, is it necessary? If you see that's positive, inculcate the changes. If it's not positive, drop it and move on. Either you do or you don't do, they will talk, so do.
Let's wrap it up. What's your final thought on the show tonight?
My final thoughts. You have taken me far today. Okay, it's been a fire one tonight, and my final thought is: women, nothing limits us except you yourself. Nothing can stop you except you stop yourself. Focus on yourself, identify your gaps, develop yourself, maximize yourself, and master the self.
You are unstoppable except you stop yourself. Dr. Bountiful Taiwo Adelanwa, I must say a very big thank you to you for gracing the show. I mean, anytime we call on you, you're always there at our beck and call. Thank you so much for being a part of the program. This is where we wrap it up on tonight's edition. I'm sure you must have had a very, very exciting time listening to us on the program tonight. This program has been brought to you courtesy Toyota Nigeria Limited, and it is produced by Ajose Oluwale from Eladia Kingbagbon and Idowu Adeyemi. Our executive producer is Taya Kole. I must say, big shout out to the social media team also, Opoyemi Shodunke, and David and the rest. Big ups to Victor Terry. My name is Taiwo Adelanwa. The program makes a return next week, Tuesday at 7:30. Until then, enjoy the rest of your cold Tuesday evening.